Okay, 2.2, this is a whole new unit, okay? It's called conditional statements. So I'm going to define it first for you. A conditional statement has two parts. The hypothesis that follows the word if, and the conclusion, yep, and the conclusion that follows the word then. So these are called if-then statements. A conditional statement is actually called an if-then statement, so you can keep up with it, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is identify the hypothesis and conclusion of this conditional statement. The hypothesis follows the word if. Does it include the word if? No. Okay? So your hypothesis is all of this. So that's my hypothesis. The conclusion follows the word then. Does it include the word then? No. So from here over is your conclusion. So why don't y'all try it on the next one? Did everybody put that? Yeah, thank you. You got my back. Okay, we're going to rewrite each of these as a conditional statement, okay? Right now, are they conditional statements? No, they don't have the words if and then. And did you notice on the last slide that before the word then, there was always a comma, because it's whatever that is in grammar. I don't know. So, to be a math teacher, this is the one section that I look for that stuff, okay? So you have to do it. All right, write each as a conditional. How can I turn that sentence, that statement, into a conditional statement? Yeah. Don't say if it, though. Say if something. If something is an animal, then it is a tiger. Use descriptive words. Like I identified that as something, right? I didn't leave it as a is. I didn't leave it as an it. Like if you're talking about a square, what's a square? A shape. You learned that in kindergarten, I would hope. No, a square is a shape, right? 0 is a number. So can you identify stuff? Yes. Even if you run out of something, guess what word you can always put? Something. If something is a blah. If something is a blah, then it is a student at Patrick County High School. Just kidding. All right. An integer that ends with 0 is divisible by 5. No, you got some identifying words in this one. No. Everybody think about it. Time out. Everybody come up with it. What'd you put? Awesome. If an integer ends with 0, then it is divisible by 5. Very good. So the last one says a square has 4 congruent sides. So I could put if a, nope, identify what it is. Yep. If a shape is a square, identify what it is first. The shape is a square. May God bless you. Then it has 4 congruent sides. Grammatically correct, isn't it? Yeah. So please don't write stuff that sounds terrible. I know that I'm not an English teacher, but I can still handle that much of the grammar part of it. Okay. Whoa, whoa. Why is that so early? Is that right? Okay. Shh, don't talk to me about it. Here we go. Using Venn diagrams. If you've had history, y'all use these in history quite a bit. Yeah. So you already know how these work, right? If is the hypothesis, because we're Dr. Seuss in here. Hypothesis is on the inside circle, okay? Conclusion is on the outside. So if P, then Q. This is the symbolic representation so that you don't have to write the whole thing every time. You can just put P implies Q. Symbolic representation. Symbols. Like on the last one, I put the congruent symbol instead of writing the word. Okay. So the way you can remember which one goes in which, HICO. Okay? Hypothesis inside, conclusion outside. So just remember HICO, all right? All right, so write the conditional statement for the following Venn diagram. Beagle hunts rabbits. Which one is the hypothesis and which one is the conclusion? Yeah. What is a beagle? How can you identify what that is? Dog, yeah. Animal works, but if you can be more specific, why not be, right? I don't know who said it. Did you say it? Yeah. Okay. If a dog is a beagle, then it, hunts rabbits. So if a dog is a beagle, then it hunts rabbits. Okay? All right. Do those two up there. First of all, let me just say this to you. Should you write if it lives in Chicago? No. What's going to live in Chicago? Someone, right? Don't put you because not everybody lives there. Put someone, all right? All right, so if someone lives in Chicago, then they or then he or she lives in Illinois. How many of you already forgot that the middle little one was a hypothesis and the outside was a conclusion? That's what I figured. You got to put this stuff in your brain, not just take notes, okay? Listen, absorb what I'm saying. The hypothesis is on the inside circle, conclusions on the outside. Some people had already forgotten that. All right. What did you put? Did you put something? Did you put an animal? This time you could. Yeah. If an animal is a blue jay, then it is a bird. Now, did somebody say they put bird? Yeah. Why can't you do that? Because it's the conclusion. Therefore, you can't identify it that way, right? All right, and the next thing we're going to do in example 8, draw a Venn diagram for the following statement. If a fruit is a pineapple, then it is grown in Hawaii. So here's my hypothesis. Here's my conclusion. So I'm going to draw my circle. Then I'm going to draw a little circle, or a oval-ish thing. Shh. It's not an olive. If a fruit is a pineapple, so I can put pineapple here. I don't need to put fruit. That's just the identifying word, right? So you don't necessarily have to put it. But you do need to put grown in Hawaii. You can't just put Hawaii. What about it? Did somebody throw it in Hawaii? Did somebody kick it, punt it? What'd they do? No, it's grown. It's grown in Hawaii. So sometimes you have to include more than one word, okay? Sometimes you don't. Like up there, blue jays and bird, that got it all in there, right? All right, so we already talked about this. A conditional statement is a statement that can be written in the form if P, then Q. The hypothesis, it follows if. Conclusion follows then. And then it has a diagram also over there for you, okay? Venn diagram. Notice writing math. If P then Q can also be written as if P comma Q, Q comma if P. I don't really like that one, so I don't know why they included it. P implies Q or P only if Q. This is the way you'll hear me say it a lot, or this. Those are the two most common, okay? Because when you put the arrow in between them, you don't read that if P arrow Q. You read it if P implies Q, right? All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the converse. Symbolically, it's Q implies P. Symbolically, how did I represent the conditional? P implies Q. So what did I just do with them? I flipped them, right? I switched them. Those are the two words students always use, flip or switch. I use flip, okay? So the converse flips or switches the hypothesis and the conclusion. Anybody seen the Converse shoes? You know how you can flip the thing down around it? That's how some people keep up with it. You know what I'm talking about? You can flip it? Okay. All right, so write the converse of if the sky is gray, then it will rain. So I literally have to switch this part. So if it rains, then the sky is gray. Okay, here's the deal. I didn't put if it will rain, then the sky is gray. Does that make any sense? If it will rain? No, if it rains, then the sky is gray. So you can tweak it a little bit to make it sound right, okay? Is the meaning of the sentence still true, though? Yeah, it's still the same. Okay, now we're going to negate these. We're going to make it the opposite. All right, so let's negate an angle is obtuse. First of all, is that a conditional statement? No. It's just a regular sentence, isn't it? But you can still negate a regular sentence. We're doing this first so that you'll know how to negate a conditional. So what would be the negated statement? An angle is not obtuse. Did I negate it? Yes, I did, didn't I? An angle is not obtuse. Okay. The Baseball Academy is not in rural retreat. How are you going to negate that one? Yeah, the Baseball Academy is in rural retreat. We don't put not in here, right? Do you put not in English? So the Baseball Academy is in rural retreat. Rural retreat. It's between Withville and Abingdon on 81. All right, you don't have that page. Look, down here, symbolically, the little tilde, the squiggly, right, means not P, or the negation of P. So we're getting ready to talk about some things where you negate the conditional statement, all right, or you flip it and negate it, okay? But we do not put not. It's not like a knock joke with a not sentence. You don't do that, okay? All right, inverses and contrapositives. You have to remember these words: conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive. They're always in that order, okay? Conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive. C, I, C. Okay? So the inverse negates the hypothesis and conclusion, but does not change the order. Does not change the order. So you just learned how to negate it, right? You negate both pieces, not just one, both parts, okay? So write the inverse of the following. If the sky is gray, I don't know why I can't talk today, then it will rain. Do they have knots in them already? No. So you don't have to worry about taking them out, right? You just put one in. So if the sky is not gray, then it will not rain. And then this big word right here, contrapositive, you flip it and negate it. So the contrapositive is like combining the converse and the inverse, okay? You do both. So you flip and negate the hypothesis and the conclusion. So write the contrapositive of, if the sky is gray, then it will rain. So I have to flip it and I have to put the not in it, or take it out if it already has it. So if it does not rain, then the sky is not gray. Special note about contrapositives. They are always true. If your conditional is true, well, if you flip it and negate it, then that's true also, okay? So that's a special note about it. All right, write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the following. Real quick, let's just talk over here. What does this one do? Yep, flips. So it makes it Q implies P. What's inverse do? Negates, that's right. So it makes it not P implies not Q. And what does a contrapositive do? Yep, flips and negates, which makes it not Q implies not P. If you write those for yourself the first few times, and you keep writing them the first few times, it'll really help you remember it faster, okay? Converse flips, inverse negates, contrapositive flips and negates, all right? So let's write this down. If it snows on the mountain, then Patrick County is out of school. Yeah, so I'm going to flip it first. So if Patrick County is out of school, then it snowed on the mountain. Then it snowed on the mountain. Make sure you keep it grammatically correct. Okay. What's the inverse going to do? Yeah. If it does not snow on the mountain, then Patrick County is not out of school. And the last one combines both of those, right? So you flip it and you negate it. So what's going to be my resulting sentence? If Patrick County is not out of school, yep, then it did not snow on the mountain. Yeah, because do you guys miss school necessarily if it snows down here? No, because that never happens pretty much. You see what I'm saying? So if you just put, if Patrick County is not out of school, then it did not snow. Is that necessarily true? No, it could have snowed in Mesdan, but not down here, right? Which happens all the time. Okay, because I live up there, right? All right, are you good? All right, here's your book showing you. Notice the symbols, because you have to remember the symbols also, okay? On your SOL, they might not write find the inverse. They might write the symbol, and you got to know that that means inverse, or they might write the symbol for contrapositive, okay? So, again, that's just telling you it again. Why am I including this stuff? because it goes in your notebook, right? This is what it looks like in your book. Okay, we're going to interpret this Venn diagram. The people that attend the Galax Fiddlers Convention can play the instruments shown. So we have the guitar, the banjo, and the upright bass. Who knows what it means if they're intersecting? They can play both of them, right, or whatever. So if it's intersected and whatever's in the inside of it means it's true for both of them, okay? So how many people play only the banjo? Good, 40. You find the circle for banjo, and you want to find the number that's only in that circle. All right, example 13. How many people play the upright bass and the banjo? So I want to find upright bass, yep, and banjo. So that one right there. 4. 4 play both of them, right? How many people can play all 3 instruments? 7. Good job. 7 because that's the intersection of all 3 of them, right? And how many total people can play more than one instrument? Now this one's a little bit harder, isn't it? So let's go through and find all the numbers of people that can play more than one, okay? Okay? All right, these people can play the banjo and the upright bass, right? These 7 can play all 3. These 37 can play the upright bass and the guitar. And these 12 can play the banjo and the guitar. Uh, 37, 7, 12, and 4. Yep, 60. Very good, 60. Okay? All right, and last one. We're actually going to do whatever the symbols tell us to do, right? So what does this symbol mean? For example, 16. What am I going to write? The conditional, right? What does this one mean? The converse, because they switched them, right? And then the last one, contrapositive. So you got to know what the symbols mean, okay? All right, so the first one, let P be the statement, lines L and M are parallel lines. Let Q be the statement, L and M never intersect. Substitute for P and Q and write each statement the way you would read it. So on the first one, I'm just going to put my if and thens in there, right? Because if you just put them together the way they are, they're not going to be a conditional, okay? What? Oh. So if lines L and M are parallel lines, then L and M never intersect. You think that's true? Yep. So all I did to change those was put them together and put my if and then in there, right? All right, so this one is the converse. So that means I flip it, right? So if, what are L and M though? Don't you always have to have the identifying word up there? Yeah, so if lines L and M never intersect, then what? Yep. Then lines L and M are parallel. I'm sorry? Would I still put what? Oh, are you on example 18? Okay, and contrapositive flips it and negates it, right? So it's going to look like this second one, example 17, except I'm either going to put the not in it or I'm going to take it out, right? So if lines L and M never intersect, am I going to put not never? No, I'm going to take that out. So if lines L and M intersect, then lines L and M what? Are not parallel. So did you negate both pieces? Yes. On one of the pieces, you took the never out, and on the other one, you put the not in. So do you see how it's crucial to negate both pieces, even if it's already got the word not or never? Yep. All right. And on the back of the page you have, it's the same page as the other one for the 47th time, so just ignore it. Okay, here we go. Quickly, I want you to try to fill this in because this is your review page, okay? So I want you to flip it. I'll write the keywords for you again. What's the conditional do? P implies Q, right? So what does it do, though? What are the key words for conditional? Yep, so you got to make it an if-then statement. So that's what you're going to do right here, right? What does the converse do to your if-then statement? Yep, flips it. Some of you are going to write switches because that's how you're going to keep up with it, right? I'm okay with that. We all learn different. What's inverse do? Negates it. Yep, it's the not. And what's contrapositive do? Flip and negate. And then I'll help you fill out the bottom down here also. Symbolic form. What's the symbols down here for a conditional? P implies Q, which tells the person to put an arrow, right? What's the symbol for converse? Q implies P. And what's the symbol for inverse? Yeah, instead of saying squiggly P implies squiggly Q, you can just say not P implies not Q. And that tells the person to put the squiggly, okay? So not P implies not Q. And the last one? Not Q implies not P. So I want y'all to fill in this part right here, okay? So first, change this sentence right here. Change that sentence to a conditional. Then give me the converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Go. Okay. So first of all, you have to give it an identifying word, don't you? You can't just keep rectangle. So what is a rectangle? A shape. So yep. If a shape is a rectangle, yep, then it has 4 right angles. So you made it a conditional, right? Okay, so I'm going to flip it, right? So if a shape has 4 right angles, then it is a rectangle. Good. Now I'm going to negate it, right? I'm going to negate the original, the conditional. So if a shape is not a rectangle, then it does not have 4 right angles. Good. And the last one, flip and negate. So if a shape, if a shape does not have 4 right angles, then it is not a rectangle. So why do you think I just made you do all that? So that what? So you understand how to do it? Yeah. Yep, no matter how it's written, you'll know what's going on, right? The conditional is normally true, you can tell, but if the conditional is true, then the contrapositive is always true, okay? But The reason why I made you do this whole section is because this helps you think logically. This will help you think logically, okay? Which will help you reason your way through a proof. So the reason why I made you do it is because this helps you start thinking logically, which will then help you reason through a proof, okay? So this is really valuable, all right? Everybody got it written down? Okay, your homework, which you have some time to work on now, so don't start packing up. Your homework, classwork/homework, is page 84, 12 through 18, number 22, 23, 30 through 36, and 50 and 51. Okay?